Warning: Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976, allowance is made for fair use, for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use.
We've talked about many topics. Let's now discuss your 7-point plan. And is it realistic? I mean, one of the things that you're talking about is paying African Americans for slavery.
Yes, sir.
Now, the President of the United States, how many presidents did it take to apologize for slavery? You have to know that that's not realistic. Reparations, it won't happen.
Well, sir, the Japanese were paid reparations. The people who are called Jews were paid reparations. Some of our brothers and sisters of the indigenous people who are called by the white man Indians, some of our brothers and sisters were paid reparations. And we can never say that it is unrealistic. It is a goal. It is a platform. It is a just demand against our oppressors and those who indeed owe us to repair the damage. So because you feel that it is unrealistic is not reason enough that the youth would take it from the 7-point program of action.
What it do, family and friends? Welcome back to the Church of Black Power. If you're not subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscribe button along with the notification bell so you can be notified whenever videos like this drop. Please make sure you're hitting that like and share button so we can beat up the algorithm. Make sure we get this message out to the ears that need to hear. And if you have not done so yet, please click the link in the description, go to change.org and put your signature on the petition for reparations, as well as hitting the other link in the description, joining the Telegram group, to help circumvent some of the shadow banning that PewTube has been doing as of recently. With that being said, family, welcome. There's a few things here to discuss, and I want to get right into it because, I don't have much time. Well, I do. However, there is some things other things I want to finish for tomorrow's broadcast. So I wanted to come to you guys today because there's a couple of interesting things that I wanted to bring to your attention. So before we jump on into it, let me go ahead and scroll up. A B1 salute and shalom to our good brother Reparations Nation in the building. Our brother Ach in the building. Our sister Val Hawkins in the building. Much love, much love. Our sister Priscilla Taylor in the building. Our sister Hurricane Nisi in the building. Much love. Thank you all for being here. Our sister Andrea Jones in the building. Our good brother Rashad Wallace in the building. Much love, much love. Our brother Jesse Paris in the building. Much love to you and thank you for being here. Shakan Ra, hope I got that right. Much love to you and thank you for being here. If I didn't, hold it to my head, not my heart. Our good brother Leonardo Yuda in the building. Much love to you and thank you for being here. JJ is in the building. Much love to you. Nito is in the building. Much love to you. Our good brother DSB is in the building. Much love to you, my warrior brother, and thank you for being in here. Southern Breeze is in the building. Much love to you, my sister, and thank you for being here, as well as our sister Renaissance Woman is in the building. Much love to you, and thank you for being here as well. Our sister Yaya Israel in the building. Much love to you, my sister, and thank you for being here as well. Natural Beauty is in the building. Much love to you, and thank you for being here as well. Our sister Patricia A. Jones is in the building, as well as Christian Wright in the building. Much love to the both of you, and thank you both for being here. Our sister Mrs. C. Phillip Davis is in the building, and for all those who are not in the chat, and for all those who's going to catch this in the replay, much love to you, and thank you for being here. Now, family, before we get to the meat and the potatoes, there's a couple of things I want to bring to your attention here. Let's start out here. Your girl, Sunny Hostin. Sunny Hostin's in the news, and it's very interesting to me. Her son got into a wee bit of trouble there, and Sunny showed up. And what's interesting to me, she didn't, wave that celebrity card. She waved that XDA card. Let's go here, family. Shout out to Sexy Red in the building. Much love to you, and thank you for being here, as well as 13 Mike Travels in the building. Much love to you, and thank you for being here.
Pleasure.
This is my son.
Hi. What's going on?
He was walking along the tracks.
Okay. On a run, on a walk, and the gate was open. I was like, oh. I see. Yeah. 475.
On the phone. He's on the phone with me. Actually.
Okay.
I'm a former federal prosecutor. He knows he's a Harvard grad who teaches fourth grade geometry to South Bronx kids.
Oh.
Then how come he didn't know not to be trespassing on federal property that you're not supposed to be trespassing on? I'm confused there. I mean, you're a former prosecutor, you know. I just noticed, you guys noticed that was the first thing she pulled up. Oh, I'm a former prosecutor, you know. He's a Harvard graduate. He teaches to the fourth graders. I'm just saying. Very interesting. Let's go. Let's continue. Let's run it back a little bit.
Pleasure.
This is my son.
Hi. What's going on?
He was walking along the tracks.
Okay. On a run, on a walk, and the gate was open. I was like, oh. I see. Yeah. 475.
On the phone. He's on the phone with me. Actually.
Okay.
I'm a former federal prosecutor. He knows he's a Harvard grad who teaches fourth grade geometry to South Bronx kids.
Oh,
He's not a kid who's ever in trouble. It's an innocent mistake. I understand you have to give violation, but it's
Where'd you go? You were like over here? So yeah, there's like an open gate. I think I was walking over there, and there's some. I was about to show them.
I had a big interview today talking about it.
You guys, the sergeant say he called up, back up, or what? Well, we just heard what was going on, so we're like, oh, we were up by Scarsdale actually, and they're like, yeah, we'll drive by. We'll see. And sometimes people go over Kelly. Is it like, oh, this is some entertaining stuff happening? Let me check it. Like, I don't know. Situations, they're not always like you, so sometimes the situations go a little the other way. They're not so compliant like you are. So it's better to be safe. So,
Family, they both look guilty. I don't know what's going on here. This is supposed to be just about trespassing. I don't know what's happening. She probably really knows. That's why she's sitting there looking the way she's looking. And he probably knows. That's probably why he's looking the way he's looking. But this right here, this is looking suspicious beyond suspicious. This is, I don't know, for me, at least for me, this is looking suspicious as hell. Oh, shout out to Sexy Red. Thank you for your super sticky yo donation. Is blessed tenfold, and I appreciate your contribution as always, family. I don't understand. He missed that meth man. Oh, and she's looking at him like, you down here on that shit again, huh? You a Harvard educated man, and you down here trying to cop that shit. Oh, let's continue.
Live in the area?
Yeah, we used to live. We just moved here. Oh, it's okay. Somewhere near the area, which is why he's making mistakes. He grew up in You show me 84 10. Yep.
It's your option. Phone number. This is just a quick reminder.
I know that Sonny claimed that she's conquistador. She comes from the bloodline of the conquist.
Sure. Friday, July 10th at 9:30 a.m. It's going to be to Michelle in the court to the North Ave, Michelle. Century. Really appreciate it. You can call them and make a brief request.
So yeah, family. I just thought that was highly interesting. You know, her son's getting caught somewhere he ain't supposed to be, and yeah, instead of saying, "Hey, you know, I'm Sonny," you know, from the show The View, you know, no, she went straight into, "Oh, I'm a former prosecutor. He knows he's a Harvard educated graduate who teaches fourth grade geometry to, you know, disenfranchised children." Oh man, I'm sorry, family. I don't know why I found so much joy in that. That was just something that was hilarious to me. Now, the next thing, family, and before we continue, let me give a B1 salute to A. Jones in the building, as well as Primo, our good brother. Don't try to get away. I saw you. Our good brother Reef is in the building as well. And Seduction Doll. Much love to all of you, and thank you all for being here. Now, the next thing is, y'all remember that documentary that Ava DuVernay or DuVernay or whatever the hell her name, it's DuVernay, I know. The documentary that she did called 13th about, you know, the prison system and things as such, right? And how, you know, slavery was never really abolished. Well, apparently they got Ava back on her nonsense. And I'm gonna be honest, the first one wasn't, I don't think that the first documentary was nonsense, but this next one is definitely some nonsense. You dig? Yeah, so apparently Netflix has commissioned her to do another one. And this one is going to be called The 14th. A new documentary from Ava DuVernay coming soon to Netflix. If the 13th asks who gets cased, then the 14th asks who gets counted. Let's go here. Let's get into it. Let's see what they got cooking. Hold up. Let me run that back. We just gonna do this for safekeepings.
Warning. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976, allowance is made for fair use, for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use.
Taking all bets, what y'all think that's going to be about? You know, who gets counted? I bet my bottom dollar. I would bet my bottom dollar that it's not going to be about foundational Black Americans. It's going to start out talking about the history of the 14th Amendment, and then it's going to skew and go right on into the whole Juan Kim Ark bull crap, and how ever since Juan Kim Ark, several different people from several different countries with several different ethnicities was able to benefit from the 14th Amendment, and that's exactly what the framers intended. Bet your bottom dollar. I'll bet mine. A B1 salute to our good brother Damon Reeves in the building. Zoo Tours in the building. Shout out to you. And our brother Dr. No Jobs in the building. Much love to you and thank you all for being here. Now, let's get in over here. Now, family, you know about the rhinos in the Republican Party that Trump loves to talk about, you know, Republicans in name only. Let me go ahead and bring you up on some of the dinos in the Democratic Party. Democratic Socialists of America, the Democrats in name only. These folks are talking about making some huge changes to Congress. Namely, they want to get rid of the Senate. Yeah, family, they want to get rid of the Senate. Oh, yeah, family. Oh, yeah, family. We definitely know it's going to be some bull. So let me go ahead and do this ahead of time.
Send in the clowns. Those daffy, laughy clowns. Send in those soulful and doleful schmotes by the bowlful clowns. Send in the clowns.
They're already here.
Socialists just unveiled a sweeping new policy agenda called for a dramatic overhaul of all three branches of the government. They say, on the plus side, you probably never have to pay a bill again. Take a listen.
You're able to take a day off and not have to worry. And you don't have to have a job just to pay the bills because you don't have a lot of bills, right? Bills are no longer a thing because there's not for-profit businesses that are constantly trying to exploit you and trying to, put you into debt.
We wanted to lift up that demand very clearly and to say, abolish ICE, end ICE detention, end deportations, and punish the brutality of these federal agents.
Correspondent Madeline Rivera has all the details for us here in the DC newsroom. Hey, Maddie.
Good afternoon, Jillian. Besides those things, the DSA also calls for defunding the Department of War, reparations, and wealth taxes.
Now, family, when they say reparations, do you think they're talking about foundationals? No, they're talking about eliminating ICE. You didn't hear them saying eliminating law enforcement, none of that. They said eliminate ICE. So they know exactly who they're targeting. They said go after the people who was working for ICE and the people who were leading the charge. So who do you think the reparations would be for? Just a question, inquiring minds.
They argue capitalism hinders freedom and that our current political system is not true democracy.
Why do we have a Senate? Like a lot of people are going to see that and they'll be like, wait a second, why do I have a Senate? Like, what's so great about the Senate? I mean, I'm not sure about this, but I'm pretty sure the only popular senator is Bernie Sanders, and it's because he ran for president as a Democratic socialist.
The DSA is pushing for an expansion of the House, which they argue is a more accurate representation of the population. And they want the Supreme Court to be replaced by a judiciary chosen by and subordinate to Congress.
Now, they want to push for the House to get more power. They say it's a more accurate representation of the population, negating the fact that a lot of these Democratic states are flooding illegals in there and having these sanctuary city host them so that they can keep their population numbers up so that they can have all the representation that they have in the House. So if that becomes the leading agency of the government, what do you think they would do? Like I said in a couple of my last broadcasts ago, where I was talking about how the Democrats are using these people in the very same way they used the slaves. First, the slaves didn't matter. They were just property. And then when it came down to counting people in order to see how much power said people would have inside of the House of Congress, Then they say, well, hold up now. My slaves count too. Hence the 3/5 compromise. So this is the exact same thing that they are doing with these illegals. And if they were to push and it becomes successful, that the House becomes the leading agency in Congress, then all they would do is continue to pack their goddamn states more with more illegals until somebody comes around and shut down the census and make the census not count these illegals. So yeah, I can see it totally how it would benefit them 100% fold and why they would want to push for that.
The new platform comes as the DSA hits 120,000 members, which they say is now the largest socialist organization in the country. The agenda will essentially serve as a rallying call as they try to build on the wins of left-wing candidates in recent primaries. Democrats are torn about how to tackle the rise of socialism within their party, but Senator Bernie Sanders says it's been a long time coming.
We are seeing a real movement of the American people who increasingly understand that we are living in a moment where never in our history have so few people, multi-billionaires, had so much economic and political power. And all across this country, we're seeing a profound disgust. People are standing up and saying that establishment politics and establishment policies are not working. We need change.
House Speaker Mike Johnson and other Republicans are
coming from the man who says that reparations is divisive. So you don't want to pay reparations, but you want your party to quite literally toss out the whole system and implement a bunch of socialism throughout the United States, which will once again keep us on the bottom. Because when you implement social programs or socialist programs on top of the debt that the country already owes, all that does is still, once again, keep the people that is owed that debt to on the bottom of other people that just got here yesterday. But reparations is not feasible. Reparations is divisive. Continue.
Sounding the alarm, framing communism as a real threat ahead of the midterms.
Let's just see what the average American thinks about this. This is the comment section. Let's see what the average person thinks of the democratic socialists and what they want to do to America. Why isn't anyone stopping them? The Nazis were also socialists. This is absolutely true. Hope everyone is paying attention. These people want the downfall of America and everything it represents. This is a fact. They want to completely change everything and all of our founding principles. It's very sad and scary. So many people believe these people.
All right, so that's somebody's commentary. I ain't trying to go there. Let's go here.
So you don't want to abolish the Senate, the United States Senate, because that's what Article 1 is.
The United States Senate is an undemocratic institution. It gives more representation to people in smaller states than to the 30
that's
30
why you
million
have the
people in
balance. So you've
California.
got the House of Representatives, which is population driven,
Mhm.
and then you've got the Senate. So every state, if you're a small state, you still get 2 senators, even though you only get maybe 1 congressman, in order to make all of the states have fair representation. So you say, I'm just confused.
When you ask normal Americans
Yeah.
if Congress and the Senate and our political system is working for them,
Mhm.
most people are very unhappy with the political system and they say it's not working for them. When we think about the 250th anniversary of the United States and we think about our proudest moments in US history, I think of times like when ordinary people rose up and they changed the Constitution to abolish slavery, to give women the right to vote.
Everyone's proud of that.
And
that's a nationwide pride in the country.
but back in those
Yeah.
moments, those were considered radical movements because those people dared to say we need transformative change in the United States.
Right.
And
Well,
I
we
think that
struggle to
see,
become a more perfect union. But I just want to ask you again, do you want to abolish the United States Senate? Because you said you approve of Article 1, but then you said you didn't think the Senate works.
we think that the Senate should be reformed, that we should have a more democratic government system. But that's a long-term change that we're seeking. And in the short term, we're focused on issues like affordability, like freezing the rent, which we've just done in New York, like creating a universal childcare system, which we're also taking steps toward doing, like fixing our energy grid.
So, family, these folks they're trying their hardest to usurp the Democratic Party overall. You know, they're being very loud about it too. You know, they even got Bernie Sanders out here saying, you know, hey, you know, this has been a long time coming. Shout out to our sister Brooke in the building. Much love to you, my warrior sister, and thank you for being here. God dang it. These folks are being 100% bold with it. And they're being, I don't know what's going on, what kind of power these folks have amassed inside of the Democratic Party, but you got a bunch of people that's keeping mouths closed about certain things. So they ran up on Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, and they was asking her about, you know, getting rid of the Senate and her thoughts on it and what she thinks. And, you know, she was kind of hemming and hawing because these folks are kind of looking at her as their candidate for 2028. Let's go here, family.
Progressive Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez taking heat after declining to reject a Democratic Socialists of America proposal, one of which is to abolish the U.S. Senate. I mean, nix it. In an interview with Newsmax congressional correspondent Kilmany Dukart, the New York Democrat instead suggested some elements of that institution are founded on racism.
For more on their conversation, let's bring in Kilmany, who joins us now live from the Capitol. Good morning.
Krisha, Edie, good morning. Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez refusing to distance herself from one of the Democratic Socialists of America's most controversial platforms. Now, when I asked her whether she rejects the group's call to abolish the U.S. Senate, New York Democrat repeatedly declined to reject the plan. And when I pressed her on whether she supports the institution, Ocasio-Cortez suggested elements of the Senate were racist.
I don't support the filibuster. I don't support elements of this institution that we know, were founded on Jim Crow.
Family, did this woman just say that the Senate was founded on Jim Crow? The filibuster. Hold on, let me run that back. I want to make sure. Hold on.
The group's call to abolish the U.S. Senate, the New York Democrat repeatedly declined to reject the plan. And when I pressed her on whether she supports the institution, Ocasio-Cortez suggested elements of the Senate were racist.
I don't support the filibuster. I don't support elements of this institution that we know, were founded on Jim Crow.
Those comments here in the Senate drawing sharp criticism.
My view is that you're not going to solve our problems by simply suggesting they can all be solved by abolishing the U.S. Senate.
It's just historically illiterate. I think a lot of.
Okay. I'm trying to make sure that she's not saying that the Senate was. Okay. Either way, the Senate nor the filibuster was basically started in Jim Crow or anything like that. It doesn't come from Jim Crow. Now, the filibuster was a tool used during Jim Crow, one of their major tools. But the way she said that had me a bit confused there.
Declined to reject the plan. And when I pressed her on whether she supports the institution, Ocasio-Cortez suggested elements of the Senate were racist.
I don't support the filibuster. I don't support elements of this institution that we know, were founded on Jim Crow.
Those comments here in the Senate drawing sharp criticism.
My view is that you're not going to solve our problems by simply suggesting they can all be solved by abolishing the U.S. Senate.
It's just historically illiterate. I think a lot of people who are spouting off of this have no concept of American history. They have no concept of what it means to protect individual liberty. And it's a pretty scary turn, I think, for the Democrats.
Well, the exchange, of course, comes after the DSA floated her as a potential early presidential endorsement for 2028, and speculation that she sought to brush aside, saying she is focused on the job she currently holds. Edie, Krisha.
Information. Truth.
All right, family, and that's not it. That's not all. Who else do you think would be a member of that whole little Democrat Socialist of America situation? I want you to guess, family. I'll give you a hint, though. I'll give you a hint because, you know, I don't want people guessing the whole roster because I'm pretty sure you can pull anybody out at this moment and put them in there with them. She belongs to the light bulb head community. Not Elizabeth Warren. She belongs to the light bulb head community. There we go. Shout out to Patricia A. Jones in the building. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. Ilan Omar. And she was quite literally flat out asked by one of them people if she was willing to vote outside of the Democratic Party if someone else's quote unquote rhetoric more aligns with her own. Let's go here.
So with that, I will take some of your questions. Assalamu alaikum, Congressman Omar. I'm a resident of St. Anthony and one of your constituents. If a Minnesota candidate outside of the Democratic Party, whether Green, Independent, or Socialist, shared your core values on universal health care, workers' rights, nonviolence, socioeconomic justice, ending U.S. support for the genocide in Gaza, supporting divestment from Israel, and getting corporate money out of politics, would you consider endorsing or supporting them?
I would love to talk to you outside of this room. It is an officially sponsored event, so I can't talk to you about who and what I can support on the campaign side. But I will stick around a little bit to chat with you afterwards. So with that, I will.
Translation: how much money you putting in my pockets? Translation: how much ducats are you gonna drop off into my bank account? Translation: what you got? Well, it's going to be very interesting to see how the Democratic Party play out with these dinos and how the Republican Party play out with the rhinos. Now, let's get to some of the meat and potatoes, shall we? Tatum Totts. Tatum Totts had the nerve to go on Piers Morgan. Let me pull this down. Had the nerve to go on Piers Morgan and get all the way down on his knees. He didn't even bring his knee pads. He got all the way down on his knees. He stretched his jawbone all the way open wide and started giving the Gok 3000 to a dead man. I mean, giving the Gok 3000 to a dead man. If I'd have known that this man was so eager to give the Gok 3000, I'd have made a phone call to some of my homies out in Vegas and we could have put him on the stroll. I mean, damn, I did not expect to look at the clip and said, damn, get off your knees, Brandon. But yeah, this man said, no, I don't even need the knee pads. I'm a professional when it comes to this gawking. And that man went all the way in. If he had a ponytail, if he had any hair, he would have pulled it back into a ponytail. I'm telling you right now, this man put on a bib and everything to give that gawk up. How do you dig up a dead man? You giving gawk to a dead body. I'm just trying to figure out. You gawking this man up more than his wife. And question to some of those out there who follow the situation. Whatever happened to that baby that Erica said that she was pregnant with? Was I tripping? I think I remember that Erica was saying how she was pregnant. That was the last gift that Charlie left her or something like that. I might be wrong. Allegedly. I'm just saying, correct me if I'm wrong. But back to the situation. The Gawker 5000, he is the prototype, apparently. Let's get over here and deal with it. let's get over here. And a B1 salute and a shalom to our sister Faith Speaks Life. Thank you for your Cash App donation. Your donation is blessed tenfold, and I appreciate your contribution as always, as well as Mrs. TT in the building. Much love to you, my warrior sister. Thank you for your super chat. Your donation is blessed tenfold, and I appreciate your contribution as always. Excuse me. Oh yeah, let's go ahead and get into it.
Do you think that Charlie Kirk was a racist?
Yes, he said that black people were better off during slavery.
No. Do you think that Charlie Kirk spewed hatred?
Yeah, I'll say to you, he thought you,
The
as a
exact
black man,
same thing,
were
the
better
exact
off
same
during slavery.
foolery that you're saying right now is what got him killed.
The truth? The truth got him killed? No. One may say, one may take into account after seeing the whole situation play out that it was actually a lie that got Charlie Kirk killed. Yeah, I mean, I would say one can deduce that Charlie Kirk was in the middle of telling a lie when he got pumed in the throat. So I wouldn't say the truth got him unalive. The fact he didn't protect his neck and he was about to tell a lie got him unalived. I mean, at least that's my humble opinion. Shout out to Beauty with Brains in the building, as well as Ella Steen in the building. Much love to the both of you, and thank you both for being here. Let's continue.
Leftist nut jobs pushing the same stupidity that you're saying right now is the reason why Tyler Robinson killed Charlie.
The leftist nut jobs. Tyler Robinson is a Nabisco man, right? Am I correct? Tyler Robinson, I didn't wake up and Tyler Robinson was black all of a sudden. I didn't wake up and Tyler was a Mexican or something, did I? So it wasn't the same type of stuff that Nabiscos do on the average. It wasn't none of that. No, it was the leftist propaganda. Not the fact that Chucky went around playing the role of the son of Satan, spewing the nonsense that he spewed. And these kind of people say that we can't take personal accountability. This man is talking about a dead man, and he can't get up off his knees. Shout out to our sister Only Pamela's Way in the building. Much love to you, and our good brother Cool Keezy in the building. Tap dancing Tatum, exactly. Yes, sir. Shout out to Enigma in the building as well. Tap dancing his ass off.
Exactly the same thing. You should be
saying you can't criticize somebody?
Silly.
So you're saying
you can't lie. You cannot lie about
any criticism.
So y'all just trying to revise history all the way around about Chucky, huh? Like, these people quite literally create a world and they go and live in it. This man is saying you can't lie about a situation that everybody can pull up on the internet in 2 to 3 seconds. Multiple video clips of the man disrespecting and denigrating the black community over and over and over again. This is why I don't condone, or when people ask me, what should I do? Should I run and be a Republican? And I say, hell no. Because every time I see a conservative who's black, for the most part, I'm not going to say this is every single one, because I don't know every single black conservative, but I do know the ones that are put in our faces. This is what they do. This is what they do. They quite literally omit history to satisfy than Nabisco Zaddy's needs. I think omitting history is like juggling the balls for these dudes. And I gotta be honest with you guys. That's what I think it is. I think that is like juggling the balls for these dudes that they on their knees for. That's like the cherry on top.
If you level any criticism of somebody, then you are responsible for their death?
You can't lie about them. The lies is what caused a person like Tyler Robinson to kill Charlie. Lies. He was not racist. He was not hateful. He did not spew hate. He was a man of courage. And he had integrity, and he was fair. If you disagree with him, he let you come to the front of the line.
The man said if his daughter got raped, that he would force her to have the baby. The man said if his daughter was SA'd, that he would force her to have the SA'd baby. I ain't even got to talk about all the stuff that he said about black folk. All you got to do is see what he said about his own daughter. A B1 salute to our warrior brother, William Aaron in the building. Much love to you. And thank you for being here. And thank you for your super chat. Your donation is blessed tenfold. And I appreciate your contribution as always, family. White supremacy is not based in reality. No, the hell it is not. They know they are lying, and then they try to live in the lie. There is no sense in talking to these people or their adjacents. And I agree with you 100% fold. Like I said, these folks live in a psychosis. They create this world and they live in that world and expect you to want to live in that lie with them. That's exactly what's happening here. This man is 100%. Matter of fact, let's just hit it off right now. Let's hit it off right the hell now.
You's a cool nigga.
Brandon, you can have your disagreement.
Brandon, Charlie Kirk said black men like you were better off during slavery. Do you agree with him?
Now listen, 100%.
Massa, is we sick, Massa?
This man did not just say that. This man did not just say that. Let me go on my book of tea. Tell me this man did not just say that. This is the mindset of the bootlick. This is the mindset of the house Negro. Shout out to our good brother Black RU in the building, as well as our brother Project Leroy. This is their mindset. And the fact of the matter is, he's telling his truth. For him, it was better living in a house with Massa. It was better when he can be in close proximity, knowing he can be there to help protect his beloved Massa.
Massa, is we sick, Massa?
For him, that's his end all be all. And he said that with no reservation. He said that with such conviction. All you got to do is let them talk. They will tell you the damn truth. Shout out to Ayo in the building, my warrior brother. Shout out to Pamela's Way. This is the first time I'm seeing Officer Cheerleader Tatum, and this tells me all I need to know. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Massa, is we sick, Massa?
That's what the hell this man is, and all you need to know about him.
You's a cool nigga.
And now he's going to realize that he just said that and try to clean it up.
Now
100%.
what? Wait,
You were
after
better off.
slavery. Let
So
me
you're
explain
saying
because
you would
maybe
be
you don't
better
know.
off.
No, notice what he just did there, family. Notice what he did. He admitted that black people were better off during slavery. Then he said, now what? And then he tried to move the goalpost by saying after slavery. No, he didn't say after slavery. He said during slavery. You just agreed to during slavery. And now you're sitting here trying to say after slavery. Because you know you done messed up, right? You know you done messed up.
You believe 100%.
Now what? Wait,
you were
after
better off.
slavery. 100%.
You believe 100%.
Now what? You can have your disagreement.
Brandon, Charlie Kirk said black men like you were better off during slavery. Do you agree with him?
Now listen, 100%.
You believe 100%.
Now what?
Said black men like you were better off during slavery. Do you agree with him?
Now listen, 100%.
You believe 100%.
Now what? Wait,
you were
after
better off.
slavery. Let
So
me
you're
explain
saying
because
you would
maybe
be
you don't
better
know
off
black history.
during
No,
slavery.
no. You don't understand black history and you don't understand what Charlie was saying.
Oh, don't try to pull the black card down. Do not try to pull the black card to defend Joe White Zaddy. Do not do that, Brandon. Get off your knees. This man quite literally tried to whip out the black card. He tried to whip out a dead man's penis out of his mouth for 30 seconds so he could use the black card and put the dead man's penis back in his mouth. You can't make this up.
Listen, after slavery, there was an explosion.
100%.
Now what? Wait,
You were
after
better off.
slavery. Let
So
me
you're
explain
saying you
because
would
maybe
be
you don't
better
know
off
black history.
during
No,
slavery.
no. You don't understand black history and you don't understand what Charlie was saying. Listen, after slavery, there was an explosion of success in the black community. We had Black Wall Street. We were married to the women we had children with. Black people had a tremendous amount of success. Our success was growing faster than white people during that period of time. Now look at us. Now go look at any inner city in this country and you see people getting murdered every weekend. The leading cause of murders in this country is by black people. Violent crimes, black people. Abortion at disproportionate rates, black people. A lot of things that were going well in our communities is going downhill fast after the 60s. And it's because.
So you just spewed, once again, a whole bunch of lies. Once again, because all of those points have been debunked thoroughly over and over and over again. You're talking about arrests versus actual convictions. And when it comes down to actual convictions, yeah, it doesn't say that. As a matter of fact, we have the most goddamn acquittals. So you can't have the most convictions or the most crime when you are the lead numbers in acquittals. Make that make sense. The math does not math. But once again, he tried to use the black card. He plopped out a dead man's penis out of his mouth. He used the black card. He spewed a bunch of non-black talking points, anti-foundational talking points, and then he plopped it right back into his mouth. This is a man, and let's not forget that this man is state funded. Shout out to AIPAC. This man is quite literally tied in with those people who says that the number one problem in their community is the black youth in our community. So I would have to ask Tatum, you get these talking points from them? Did they hand these down to you knowing you was going to be on this station? Probably not, because, you know, you're a bootlick. You would have said all this for nothing. Exactly. Even the Caucasian man can't believe what this coon is saying. They looking at this man with full amazement. Like he's looking like, where can I find me a Negro like this? That's what he looks like. Like, God dang. Everybody else is looking Like, damn, this man is on his knees.
We've been voting for these sorry Democrats for so many years, and they've done nothing for black people. And you cannot tell me, as somebody who knew Charlie, that he was a racist. He wasn't. I knew him very well. We did a whole bunch of incredible things in the black community. He helped out with Blexit, our black nonprofit that helped the black community.
A bunch of bootlicks and Sambos. He helped a bunch of bootlicks and Sambos who runs around degrading the black community every chance they get. Yeah, that means he's not racist. Really? You can look at the people that he put on the loan. From you to Can't Dance Owens. And if he had a little bit more time on this planet, he would have groomed that kid, what is it, Matt Nuclear. That kid from Angola. He would have groomed the hell out of him. Continue.
We took 400 black conservatives to the White House for the first time in history. So don't you say nothing about Charlie being a racist unless you have evidence. Outside of that, you're lying and you're pushing conspiracies that got Charlie Kirk killed.
Charlie Kirk said that the Civil Rights Act was a huge mistake. He said that Martin Luther King Jr.
Notice he agreeing with everything Massacre said. Massacre, he's absolutely right. You know, I just know that Massacre, you know, and whatever he says goes around here because Massacre knows that, you know, he knows best. And who would I be to go against Massacre? Oh, he said the Civil Rights Bill was a mistake. I agree with Massacre. He said that slavery, even though he didn't say it, but still, he said that slavery was best time for Negroes. I agrees with Master Cox, and I won't stop now. Let me find something very appropriate for this man here. Let me go ahead and pull this up here. Let me go ahead. All right, go ahead.
Was awful and not a good person.
I agree with him. As a black man in America,
that's on you. That's your prerogative to say that. But you don't get to say because you agree with him that
about.
Somehow that wasn't a racist thing to say. You are not you are not the arbiter of what is or isn't racist just because you agree with something that is objectively racist.
You're not the arbiter of somebody having an opinion about a certain policy that's been put in place where he has evidence. When you cannot deny what he's saying is true.
Yeah, I thought I'd let it play out, you know, because he's a full-blown coon. I guess he deserves a full-blown song. Family, I only have one thing to say. And since, you know, he loves his Nabisco Zaddy so much, I let his other Zaddy tells him what I have to say.
Sit down and shut the fuck up, bitch!
This is why delineation was so necessary. This is why these people are getting laughed out of the room. This is why you can look at all of these folks and see that they're miserable. They're miserable. Because no matter what they do, no matter what they say, the Nabiscos still look at them like an open op. They're doing everything, saying everything in their power, and they're like, Zaddy, why don't you want me anymore? I've been here fighting for you. I've been calling these Negroes everything under the sun except the children of God. I blame them all the time. We got to hold these Negroes accountable, you know? Only for these fools to get put back on the internet talking about how racist these Nabiscos have been towards them as of lately. These fools are gluttons for pain. That's what he's used to, Keezy. Just do as you're told, boy. Don't give me no talk back. Oh, yes, sir, massa. I'll clean up the house, massa. I will shine your boots with my tongue, massa. Oh, massa. I clean the toilet seat with my tongue, massa. If that makes you happy. Oh, glory, glory. That man dug up a man to put his dead, decrepit, dilapidated meat in his mouth. I ain't heard Erica go so hard. Oh, family. Let's talk about Vivek, though. Got to talk about Vivek because Vivek had to come out and he's making similar points. Once again, you know, he's back to his old, let me go pal back onto the black people. Maybe I can get some more voters to come on my way. But I got to remind Vivek of something. But let's play this first.
Supposed aid from Lyndon Johnson's Great Society that actually rolled back some of the benefits that black families enjoyed, like a stable family foundation in the 1960s, no longer the case today, in part because the government gave them an incentive to live in single-parent households rather than dual-parent households. Affirmative action, effectively a cancer on our national soul, in part because it's a form of psychological slavery that holds black Americans back by teaching them that they can't get ahead without actually somebody giving them a boost. Supposed aid from Lyndon Johnson's Great.
Okay. First and foremost, I want to remind Vivek of something that should be in the front of his inner lobe. He should always have this stored there. It should be something that just pops up every 3 hours to remind him of his social standing here in America. And what that is this here. Let's go here. Let's go here.
And that's why I brought on today somebody who I think has some thoughtful perspectives on the future direction of our country, of our conservative movement, and on this question of nationalism and national identity, somebody who've been fascinated by for a long time and have interacted with on social media, but for the first time we're having at least a live form conversation in the offline sense of it. It's Ann Coulter. So Ann, thanks for coming on, and I'm looking forward to our conversation today.
Me too. Thanks for having me. That was a fantastic opening monologue. I too am a fan of yours. I'm going to make a point of disagreeing with you so that it will be fun. You are so bright and articulate, and I guess I can call you articulate since you're not an American black. Can't say that about them. That's derogatory. And that was a great opening segment. Lots of things to talk about there. Oh, and I agreed with many things you said during, in fact, probably more than most other candidates when you were running for president. But I still would not have voted for you. Because you're an Indian. We'll get back to that. Still would not have voted for you because you're an Indian, but I still would not have voted for you when you were running for president, but I still would not have voted for you because you're an Indian, but I still would not have voted for you because you're an Indian.
And Vivek, that is the majority of them and their thought process when it comes to you. As a matter of fact, I think you were sitting there with your shoes off while doing this, and they clowned the hell out of you. We do not want this Indian Brahmin culture in America. I remember that vividly. So now you think that you're going to use anti-blackness to get you into the governor's office. Good luck with that. Good luck with that, by the way. I doubt that you'll get there. And I also want to remind you of something else, Vivek. Let's go back to what you had to say here.
Aid, supposed aid from Lyndon Johnson's Great Society that actually rolled back some of the benefits that black families enjoyed, like a stable family foundation in the 1960s, no longer the case today, in part because the government gave them an incentive to.
The government gave us an incentive? You know who got the largest incentive out of that whole situation? Your parents. Oh yeah, you know, the people who was incentivized to come over here illegally and drop you off as an anchor baby. Yeah. So the biggest incentive went to you all. And they came over here and got some of those government goodies. So who's really eating off of the taxpayers? Let's go here.
You've talked about your mother's experience with the citizenship test. You've also talked about having something similar for folks who graduate high school in order to vote, having a civics test similar to what your mother took. You've lately been talking on the campaign trail more about your mother than your father, and some folks have been asking questions, and I just want to be super clear. Did your father also take the citizenship test, and is your father a citizen?
He did not, and that's a choice that he has made for familial reasons, but he did not, and that's a choice that he has made for familial reasons. He did not, and that's a choice that he has made for familial reasons, but my.
Did he make that choice for himself, or did the government make it for him? I'm just asking for a friend, inquiring minds.
Mother did, and I think that every immigrant who comes to this country in order to become a full voting citizen has to do the same. And I believe in being consistent about my policies where.
So your father is not a citizen of the United States?
He's not.
Okay. And your mother, when did your mom take the citizenship?
This is the man who's trying to speak ill about the people who made it possible for his mother to even become a citizen and for him to become a citizen through birthright. And he think that he could speak on us? My mans, I will make a phone call and get your pops to freak up out of here with the quickness. I will call ICE tomorrow. Keep playing with me.
Was it before or after you were born?
After I was born.
After you were born. Okay.
After years of being in this, following the legal process of becoming a naturalized citizen, she followed it through the legal process. And
so
I think
you gained citizenship through birthright then?
Well, but you gain citizenship through birthright citizenship in that sense too, right? I mean, every American. So what I want to do is revive a vision of citizenship.
No, every citizen does not gain birthright in that form. Citizenship grants citizenship to the child. What you all used and practiced was an illegal method to become a citizen. Your parents came here illegally, pushed out a little dirty, big head, Bigfoot baby. And notice he got his shoes on this time. And that baby became a birthright citizen. Well, at least according to the interpretation of what it is today. So don't try to equate the two. Oh, we're all got birthright citizenship. We're all granted citizenship through birthright. No, you're granted citizenship through an illegal means. You illegally came to a country. Your parents illegally came to a country and pushed you out and you became a citizen, and then your mother became a citizen, and your father said, I'm not going to become a citizen. Let me go ahead and just double dip in the program. So, we probably get more if I'm not a citizen. And nowadays you can tell that, yeah, he probably was right if that's what he was thinking. So, yeah, don't try to slide that. You saw how you try to slide that in between each other? Nah, that's something totally different, my boy. A B1 salute to B1 business in the building. Much love to you, my warrior brother, and thank you for your contribution. Your donation is blessed tenfold, and I appreciate all that you do, my warrior brother. Much love to you. Let's continue.
Where every kid who
Wait,
enjoys...
I'm sorry, just to backtrack. So your father is not a citizen, your
They
mother...
came to this country legally. They were in this country legally. So my view is any kid who's born in this country
So they came to this country legally. All right, so let's pull that back. I'll pull it back there. Your parents came to this country legally, but they were not citizens. And then they had you, who became a citizen. Still not the same thing as a citizen being born here, being born to citizens' parents, parents who already had citizenship. Not the same thing. And I'm with you. I'm with you, my sister. I believe he's lying too. I believe he's lying too.
Parents who are here legally, that's the scope of where birthright citizenship applies. And I think it's a very simple...
Okay, if your parents came here legally, that means that they came on a visa. And if they came on a visa, your mother got her citizenship, your father never got his citizenship, and it's been all this time, one can probably come to the conclusion that that visa has most likely already ran out and he'd already overstayed his visa. If he never became a citizen. I'm just putting two and two together. Shout out to First Class Citizen and Tiffany Jackson in the building, as well as Only Us. Much love to all of you, and our sister Mia Kim in the building. Much love to you, and thank you all for being here.
Principle. The 14th Amendment says, subject to the laws and jurisdiction thereof. So anybody who is in this country legally, under the auspices of federal law and under the auspices of U.S. law, here legally, the kid of that person, whether they've been here for 5 generations, I don't know if that's your case or not, whether they've been here for 3, 4, 5 generations.
Too, actually, by the way.
Okay, I didn't know that. But anyone who is in this country legally.
Legally.
Yep.
Legally immigrated to the United States.
So the kid of anyone who's in this country legally, whether or not they're an immigrant, that's the scope of to whom birthright citizenship applies. Now, I favor going one step further with this, though. The step I favor going further with is, I think even the kids who are here, whether they're first generation or 6th generation, should have to earn all of their civic privileges by knowing the same thing about a country that we require of legal immigrants as well. I think every 18-year-old who graduates from high school should have to pass the same civics test that every immigrant has to pass in order to become a legal voting citizen. I would also, in our legal immigration system, even bring that citizenship test to the front end, not just on the back end of being a citizen, but even to get a visa to come into this country. I favor making English the national language of the United States.
Yeah, you favor all of that. And you'll never be looked at as an American citizen. You'll be looked at as somebody who has citizenship, but you'll never be looked at as an American. And that got to burn your damn hide. I know that got to stink worse than India. That got to really burn and grind your gears. Yeah, I think that you should keep our names out of your mouth. Like I said, we could be calling ice in the morning. God dang, Father been here damn near 30, 40, 50 years and still ain't became a citizen. He decided not to become a citizen. Yeah, right. Anyway, family, moving on. Let's get into what we came here to talk about here today. Let's get into it. When I said in the prior broadcast that Essence Fest was nothing but Tether Fest and it was a vote blue no matter who rally, I meant that tenfold. Not only did they have situations such as Michelle Obama, opening up with Cardi B. Yeah. That's basically what it is, though. It was just a bunch of shenanigans and chicanery. And, I'm really sad that Miss Chalet, because I love me some Miss Chalet. I'm really sad that she was, booked and Patti LaBelle was booked. And, they didn't get the real experience that Essence Fest was made for, And Miss Chalet still got it, too. She still got a beautiful voice. Not that I saw her performance. I heard she was performing, but I did hear her perform recently, and that voice is still amazing. But Al Sharpton was also there at Tether Essence Fest. And they announced that they were going to be doing a new March on Washington for voters' rights, August the 28th, 2026. Let's go here.
With respect to Black culture, there is one person who has been doing this for decades. He has been supporting our communities. He's been fighting for our communities in the trenches.
Nigga, please.
Fighter, he's a civil rights icon, and he's a visionary. The Reverend Al Sharpton.
Thank you. Right now in Washington, D.C., they're having on the National Mall the celebration of July 4th. But what they will not talk about is on July 4th, 1776, Black people were slaves in this country. We were not part of the Declaration of Independence. But we celebrate tonight because 250 years later, we never stopped fighting, we never backed down. We took nothing and made something happen. If you want to celebrate something, celebrate that we built this nation on our backs and never got paid. They say America the beautiful. We made America beautiful. They say America the great. We made America the great. And we fought and we bled and we died to get the right to vote. And now Trump and them were trying to take that right. We fought too hard. We spent too many nights in jail. We're going to vote like we never voted before. Today, a group called the Patriots marched in Washington with Confederate flags. Well, on August 28th, Martin Luther King III now having a march in Washington on the day his father gave the dream speech. I want everybody to be there. We're going to stand up and show the dignity of our people. We're going to show that we are going to never back down. We won't bend, buckle, no matter what they do in the Supreme Court. We're going to win in the court of appeal. Let me say this. Don't take for granted that you're here tonight. They tried to, in every way they could, criticize Essence, criticize Rich Lou Dennis, but they don't.
Who is they? Hey, Al, if you won't call out foundational Black Americans, say it by name. Don't just, say they. Nah, let people know who's shutting Essence down. Let people know who got Essence going bankrupt. Let people know who's making Essence a failure. Let people know who you speaking about, Al. Don't be scared now. Say it like a man. Poke out your chest and call out foundationals. Because we're the only they who's holding these people accountable out here. Go ahead, Al. I thought you was gangster. Isn't that what you said? Isn't that what you said when you was addressing our brother Melrose? Don't get it twisted. Don't get it confused. Don't let nobody run up on me. You too scared to say our damn name, Al. All of a sudden, we're they. We're them.
Understand that the harder you hit us, the harder we fight back. We're the children of people, and took nothing and made something happen. You can't beat us down. You can't turn us around.
Al, you're talking to the children of the actual children who move this nation. And who we're talking to, quite literally, are the children of the house Negro, the bootlicks. The boule class. That's who we're talking to. We're not separate in this situation. And family, I want to make it very clear he's talking directly to us because MAGA ain't been trying to tear down the Essence Fest. MAGA ain't been holding Richie Lou accountable. Trump ain't said a damn thing about Essence. So you know who he's talking to. And he's trying to make it seem like it's MAGA who's trying to tear down the Essence Fest. No. It is foundationals who are saying if you're going to run Essence Fest as a tether fest, if you're going to block out and push out all of the black vendors, and you're going to bring in all your little African boutiques and all this little nonsense, you're going to try to put your culture versus our culture and then call it a battle. You're going to do all these disrespectful things. We're shutting it down. There was no MAGA involved in that. There was no Donald Trump involved in that. So trying to make it seem as if we're not the same descendants just shows how desperate this bobble-headed fool is. Somebody put in the chat a little bit earlier that they missed the Fat Al. I'm just saying I'll be glad. Let me just be very, this is just my humble opinion, when we no longer have to deal with him. I said it, don't care. Let's continue.
Will be the essence of what happens in our culture. Lastly, I've been at every Essence Festival since 1995. I came that year with my mentor, and we spoke. Well, he died in February of this year, but I want to continue what he taught us, because even when times look bad, even when they look dark, I remember what my mentor taught me, Brother Jesse Jackson. He said, keep hope alive. Even if you can't figure it out, keep hope alive.
Keep hope alive. Keep hope alive. Don't keep your black people alive, but just keep hope alive. And if you can keep hope alive, then black people will always vote for hope. And you use hope like dope, and you make sure you sell them that continuously. Keep hope alive. Keep hope alive. Keep hope alive. You know, black people are getting killed every which way. We need a Freedmen hate crime bill. And these fools are running around here talking about keep hope alive. Keep hope alive. You can't even keep your constituents alive, you bastards. And you want to talk to me about Messy Jesse. You already know my feeling on Messy Jesse.
Fuck Jesse Judge.
And again.
Fuck Jesse Judge.
Three times for dramatic effect.
Fuck Jesse Judge.
Continue.
Even if it doesn't look like you can make it, keep hope alive. In memory of Jesse Jackson, say that with me tonight. Let him know on July 4th from New Orleans, keep hope alive. 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 Thank you, God bless you. Thank you. Some noise for the legend.
Family, if you're moved by any of that man said, you quite literally cannot go. If you're moved by anything that man just said, then you are the person that Harriet would have had to shoot. If you're moved by anything that man just said, just know you are a Democratic shield. And you have lost any credibility with us. So, you know what they do? They start promoting right away. Right away. Revolt News, March for Democracy, planned for the anniversary of MLK's historic March on Washington. Family, there's been several marches on Washington. And I want y'all to stick with me because we're going to get into some history here. And I'm going to tell you why I believe the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King actually start speaking in the rhetoric in the way he was speaking before he was unalived. I believe I'm going to explain and show here what made Martin Luther King one of the most dangerous men to ever walk these streets. Before we go there, this is 2020. Now, this was in 2020. You know, when black folks took to the streets and lit it up because we were just tired of watching person after person get taken away in the manner that they were getting taken away, right in our faces by the police and others with impunity. And the George Floyd situation took place. people took to the streets. And then Al Sharpton got with the family, and they said they were going to have a march on Washington. And they had significant turnout. Do you think when they got out there, they were calling for a freedmen hate crime bill? No. Because that was just one of their ways to garner votes to the booth in that November up and coming election. And who was on the ballot? Lock 'em up Joe, Jim Crow Joe Biden, and Cop Kamala Harris. That was 2020. For them to turn around and say, yeah, you know what? We're just going to leave, a police accountability commission. We're going to leave that up to Congress to do once they got in office. That was 2020. In 2023, for the 60th year, the King Center did another March on Washington. 2023. This is why Joe Biden was still in office. Did they go up there asking for or demanding for a freedmen hate crime bill, reparations, and transformative black agenda? This is why, while they still had Joe Biden in office. No, they didn't. Now, they did list here the 10 points that the civil rights movement and Dr. King went after or used during the first March on Washington, where he gave his I Had a Dream speech. First thing was comprehensive and effective civil rights legislation from the present Congress without compromise or filibuster to guarantee all Americans access to all public accommodations, decent housing, adequate and integrated education, the right to vote. This is the first. The second, withholding of federal funds from all programs in which discrimination exists. Number 3, desegregation of all school districts in 1963. Number 4, enforcement of the 14th Amendment, reducing congressional representation of states where citizens are disenfranchised. Wait a second, family. Let's go back over that. Enforcement of the 14th Amendment, reducing congressional representation of states where citizens are disenfranchised. That would sound like Dr. King would be against the 14th Amendment going to anybody except the descendants of freedmen. He said a reduction of representation of states where citizens are disenfranchised. So, if you were to look at where foundational Black Americans all around the globe, all over the United States, are disenfranchised, that would be Democrats and Republican states. And Democrat more so because of all of the illegals that they use in order to inflate their numbers so that they can have more power in the House of Representatives. So in a sense, we've been pushing for, or we're not really tripping off of, these minority majority districts being taken away or anything like that, because in a sense, it's basically going towards what Dr. King actually was stopping for to begin with. All right, number 5. That's just in my opinion. Just in my opinion. Number 5. A new executive order banning discrimination in the housing and all housing supported by federal funds. Number 6. Authority for the Attorney General to institute injunction suits when any congressional right is violated. When any constitutional right is violated. Give me 1 second. Yeah, there we go. All right. Number 7, a massive federal program to train and place all unemployed workers, Negro and white. Notice how that is specific. Very specific, Negro and white, on meaningful and dignified jobs at decent wages. So all the folks that be talking about Dr. King, he fought for everybody, black, brown, right here. It's the Negro and whites when talking about employment opportunities, meaningful and dignified employment opportunities. Number 8, the National Minimum Wage Act that will give all Americans a decent standard of living. Number 9, a broadened Fair Labor Standard Act to include all of the areas of employment which are presently excluded. And number 10, a federal Fair Employment Practice Act barring discrimination by federal, state, and municipal governments, and by employers, contractors, employment agencies, and trade unions. Shout out to Only Us in the Building. He said, I got a Negro on my birth certificate. Exactly. We'll get into that because, God dang it, when we talk about reclassification, if you ain't never been classified as no Negro, I don't want to hear nothing out of anybody's mouth. We'll talk about that tomorrow, though. Now, this was the 10 points that their father originally marched on. And they went out there marching again in 2023. And I don't see what their demands were, but I do see Bernice King was there with Stacey Abrams. So I'm pretty sure it wasn't too much of anything. Voting, economics, and empowering the next generation of leadership. So basically a nothing burger. All right. I just find it interesting that they keep having the March on Washington when a lot of people, such as myself, would say the March on Washington Even the original was a failure. I mean, really, what really changed after the March on Washington? The wealth gap remained and widened. Reparations was never achieved. Legal equality versus economic justice is basically what we're dealing with. And we got on paper equality out of that. We didn't get no type of real equality, no type of equity, no type of economic justice. The immigration policy changed shortly after, which messed up everything in our communities, putting these folks in our communities, giving them lesser wages, messing up our wages, messing with the goddamn unemployment rate within the Black community. And most of all, we got political symbolism. Political symbolism replaced material outcome, tangibles. So what exactly did the March on Washington do? And now I kind of want to go, matter of fact, I don't want to I want to go here because I want to show you what Martin Luther King said, the clip that they hate to play, the clip that they hate for us to use. I want to go here. Listen to what Martin Luther King had to say, and then we'll get back into it.
At the very same time that America refused to give the Negro any land, through an act of Congress, our government was giving away millions of acres of land in the West and the Midwest, which meant that it was willing to undergird its white peasants from Europe with an economic floor. But not only did they give the land, they built land grant colleges with government money to teach them how to farm. Not only that, they provided county agents to further their expertise in farming. Not only that, they provided low interest rates in order that they could mechanize their farms. Not only that, today, many of these people are receiving millions of dollars in federal subsidies not to farm, and they are the very people telling the black man that he ought to lift himself by his own bootstraps. This is what we are faced with, and this is a reality. Now, when we come to Washington, in this campaign, we are coming to get our check. Faced with, and this is a reality. Now, when we come to Washington, in this campaign, we are coming to get our check. Now, when we come to Washington, in this campaign, when we come to Washington, in this campaign, we are coming to get our check. Now, when we come to Washington.
I wanted to play that several times to hammer the point through. I believe there's somebody who said something very similar. Very similar. Let's go here. Shout out to our good brother Melrose Mike.
Step up, tell us your name, and briefly, what's on your mind?
Hey, yo, as I look around this room, if you're 35 years old or younger, raise your hand. 4 people. So here's the thing. Y'all in trouble. Yesterday, you had Al Green up here talking about we need a Secretary of Reconciliation, and then that's going to include what he said was reparations, which, by the way, wasn't reparations. Reparations is more than a check, but the very first thing it is a check. And come this year during the midterms and in 2028, if you don't have our check, you won't get no vote. No check, no vote. Yeah, I know that ain't what you want to hear, but that's what's happening. All of y'all in here, with all due respect, you're beautiful, but you're old. You're not talking to the youth. You don't know how to talk to the youth. You're trying to tell us what to do. We're not having it no more. So if you want our vote, you got to come with our paper. We're not scared of Trump. We're not scared of anybody. Biden is a racist. Trump is a racist. Kamala is a racist. And if you don't have our money, you don't get our vote. Yeah, not. Who are you? Oh, all right, yeah, so like I was saying, I'm going to land my plane right there, but the Democrats are no better than the Republicans. No check, no vote. Y'all take care. And somebody get my man a tissue. He needs a tissue.
Family, that right there, if I never heard somebody, if I close my eyes and I just listened, you would have thought you would have heard this. You was hearing this.
It's a reality. Now, when we come to Washington, in this campaign, we are coming to get our check. In this campaign, we are coming to get our check. In this campaign, in this campaign, in this campaign, we are coming to get our check.
Family, that's what I hear. That's what I heard. That was the closest to MLK in his final days that anybody there has been or has gotten to. And that was from the black grassroots. That was from the black grassroots. And you would think that people in there would say, wow, that brother was preaching. You know, that's that spirit right there of MLK right there. Like he said, we're coming to get our check. Yeah, let's go get our check. You would think that would be the energy. But no, it wasn't. The bootlicked, came back around and had this to say.
So I'm glad that people are here. Let me say, in terms of our report for the year, and then we're going to go on with the program. Our young people are rehearsing, getting ready for this afternoon. This is our youth day. I heard somebody talk about young people. They tell them to just stay around. They're going to see two people, afternoon, all of the youth in there. And I don't know, but you get provocateurs, because anybody that's talking to somebody younger than them holding the mic, then you know that they paid agents. And if you're in the room, if you don't like me saying that, I'll say it again. Because you cannot get reparations without putting people in office that's going to pay them. So talk that ignorance somewhere else. No, people talking about we have been for all of our existence fighting for reparations, made every candidate pledge to it.
Now remember, he made every candidate pledge to it. He said they've been fighting 35 years from their existence for reparations. Every candidate has pledged to it, but yet you haven't seen reparations from none of these candidates. None of these candidates has even said that they're for reparations. As a matter of fact, all of these candidates have quite literally said that they were against reparations. Obama said he was against reparations. Joe Biden said he was against reparations. God dang, what's his name? I'm spacing on this god dang name. God dang it. Bill Clinton didn't give out reparations. None of these folks who became president said, well, hey, you know what? We pledged to reparations. Here's reparations. And this is thanks to the National Action Network. No, that's why you're called the Non-Action Network. The Non-Action Network. For this reason. For this reason. So while you're sitting there inflating your chest talking about, we've been talking about reparations since our exception made every candidate pledge to it. If they pledged to it and they didn't follow the pledge, if they didn't follow that agreement, then what good are you when you just keep going back saying, well, give them another shot, give them another chance to do it? Who else is going to do it if not them? You have been an ineffective tool. And I'm not saying that as if I'm surprised, because that's what you're there to be, a tool, but not a tool for us, a tool for white supremacy. So you've been ineffective for us, but you've been highly effective for white supremacy. Continue.
You cannot get reparations unless you elect folk that's going to pay it. Who you going to pay yourself? So you can't, at one hand, say, everybody, don't vote for everybody, they racist, but I want reparations. Who going to pay you? So either you paid or you stupid or both. I mean, I don't see nobody standing up. I didn't see whoever it was, but
yeah, because you wasn't trying to be in the room. You didn't see who it was, but you had him escorted out of the room. That's crazy work. However, now you said you either pay or a fool or both. Well, I'm always remind folks about Al Sharpton. Al, I'm going to need you to never call anybody a paid agent again when the world knows that not only were you a paid agent, you sat there and quite literally tried to clean it up after you got found out for being a paid agent. Shout out to Miss Vita. Much love to you. Thank you for being here, and thank you for your super chat donation. Your donation is blessed tenfold, and I appreciate your contribution as always, my warrior sister. Shalom. Keep up the good work. Be one black first to you, my sister. Foundational first all day to you, my warrior sister. Now, let's go here.
Reverend Al Sharpton has come clean about his secret past as a government informant. CBS 2's Dave Carlin tells us the activist admitted to helping the FBI bring down some of New York's most wanted.
I was not and am not a rat.
The Reverend Al Sharpton identified as confidential informant CI7, now admitting he wore a wire for the FBI. He helped the government go after boxing promoter Don King, music executives, and mobsters, including Vincent the Chin Gigante, who famously wore his robe and pajamas in public.
I was cooperating.
Sources say that cooperation likely started after he was nabbed in a drug sting caught on video. Helping the feds may have helped him. But Sharpton says he went to them because members of the mob wanted him dead.
They were threatening to kill me.
Sharpton is kicking off his National Action Network convention this week with headliners President Obama and Mayor de Blasio, who defended Sharpton.
I think he has done a lot of good for the city of New York and for this country.
Retired NYPD Detective Sergeant Joseph Jackalone says unmasking any confidential informant troubles him.
You never want this because we need people to help cooperate. So this is an unfortunate incident.
Sharpton said, yeah.
We need him to stay a secret agent so we can use him to move the black community in whatever way we need him to move the black community in. One of the things that this man used to do is use his race hustle in order to get chips, to get his ducats. He would threaten to bring groups of black Americans down and call companies racist if they did not pay him. This man was an informant and a scammer and a race hustler, quite literally a race hustler. And I hate to use that word, but that is quite literally what he did. Reportedly. You would think that the march on Washington and this time around and any time around would be about what Dr. King wanted his last march to be about, or what would have been his last march. Once again, this is what he was on.
Faced with. And this is a reality. Now, when we come to Washington in this campaign, we are coming to get our check.
Dr. King was unalived after this. But you would think you would want to complete your father's legacy. You would think that you would want to complete your mentor's mentor legacy. The fight isn't complete because he said quite literally he was coming to get that check. So anybody who's doing a march on Washington that isn't talking about going to get our reparations, going to get a Freedmen hate crime bill, going to get transformative policies for the Black community, the foundational Black community, to be more specific. If you're not talking about these things, you, sir, are an op. You're going to talk about voters' rights. And now we can get into my hypothesis. For those who stuck with me, shout out to you. But let's get into my hypothesis. I have a hypothesis that basically examines why Martin Luther King went from being the Martin that the Nabiscos loved to being the Martin that the Nabiscos had to take out. And why was it a situation where he made sure to continuously tell people after 1965 about how the Civil Rights Act, the Nabisco didn't have to pay nothing. The Nabisco didn't have to do nothing. The country didn't have to pay or cut one check. It didn't cost the country anything to vote or to grant voters' rights. It didn't cost the country anything to integrate the schools. And I think about that. And then I start thinking back to when he first started out after Kennedy was unalive. And Lyndon B. Johnson took over. And Lyndon B. Johnson and Martin Luther King would talk to each other frequently on the telephone. And when you hear Lyndon B. Johnson speak with Martin Luther King, whether it's before the Civil Rights Bill, if it's before the Civil Rights Bill in 1963, he was talking about passing or getting Congress to pass the Civil Rights Bill. And then after the Civil Rights Bill in 1965, he's talking about making sure Congress passed the Voters' Rights Bill. But all this during the time that Martin is basically talking about economics. So I'm going to play a few clips. And I want you to answer me this question. Do it seem like to you that Martin started to realize that he was being used? Because we all know about him saying, you know, he basically led his people into a burning building. So at some point, it snapped in his head that, hey, every time I bring up some sort of economic growth, upward mobility for my people, I'm being told about voters' rights or making sure that people are able to go and vote. And if you say yes, then it would then make sense why he was so adamant to make sure everybody understood what he was saying when he was saying it cost the country nothing to enforce our ability to vote. It costs the country nothing to integrate us into these schools. As a matter of fact, it actually benefited the country economically to do so. So I want you all to hear these clips here, these calls. And then I'm going to get into some of the rarer speeches that he was doing before he was taken out. Let's go here. Shout out to our sister C. Terry in the building, as well as Juniper Joy in the building, as well as Lunch Eyes and Gerard in the building. Much love to all of you, and thank you all for being here. Shout out Primo if I didn't shout you out before. And also Queen Shabbat. Much love to you. Let's continue.
Interest in your cooperation and your communication, and a good many people told me that they heard about your statement, I guess on TV, wasn't it?
Yes, that's right.
I've been locked up in this office and I haven't seen it, but I won't tell you how grateful I am and how worthy I'm going to try to be of all your hopes.
Well, thank you very much. I'm so happy to hear that, and I knew that you had just that great spirit, and you know you have our support and backing.
Well,
we know what a difficult period this is.
It's just an impossible period. We got a budget coming up that's we got nothing to do with. It's practically already made, and we got a civil rights bill that hadn't even passed the House, and it's November. And Hubert Humphrey told me yesterday everybody wanted to go home. We got a tax bill that they haven't touched. We just got to not let up on any of them and keep going. And I guess they'll say that I'm repudiated, but I'm going to ask the Congress Wednesday to just stay there. They pass them all. They won't do it, but we'll just keep them there next year till they do, and we just won't give up an inch.
Well, this is mighty fine. I think it's so imperative. I think one of the great tributes that we can pay in memory of President Kennedy is to try to enact some of the great progressive policies that he sought to initiate.
Well, I'm going to support them all, and you can count on that, and I'm going to do my best to get other men to do likewise, and I'll have to have y'all's help. I never needed more than I do now.
Well, you know you have it, and just feel free to call on us for anything.
Thank you so much, Martin.
All right.
Call me when you... I sure will. Call me when you're down here next time.
I certainly will.
Let's get together, and any suggestions you got, bring them in.
Fine. I certainly will do that.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Now that's one. Let's go here.
I think it's very important that we not to say that we're doing this and we not do it just because it's Negroes or whites, but we take the position that every person born in this country, when he reaches a certain age, that he have a right to vote, just like he has a right to fight, and that we just extend it, whether it's a Negro, whether it's a Mexican, who it is. And number two, I think that we don't want special privilege for anybody. We want equality for all, and we can stand on that principle. But I think you can contribute a great deal by getting your leaders and you yourself taking very simple examples of discrimination, where a man's got to memorize Longfellow, or whether he's got to quote the first 10 amendments, or he's got to tell you what Amendment 15, 16, 17 is, and then ask them if they know, and show what happened. And some people don't have to do that. But when a Negro comes in, he's got to do it. And we can just repeat and repeat and repeat. I don't want to follow Hitler, but he had an idea that if you just take a simple thing and repeat it often enough, even if it wasn't true, why people accept it. Well, now this is true. And if you can find the worst condition that you run into in Alabama, Mississippi, or Louisiana, or South Carolina, where, well, I think one of the worst I ever heard of is the president of the school at Tuskegee, or the head of the government department there, or something, being denied the right to cast a vote. And if you just take that one illustration and get it on radio and get it on television, get it on in the pulpits, get it in the meetings, get it every place you can, pretty soon the fellow that didn't do anything but drive a tractor, he'll say, well, that's not right, that's not fair.
Shout out to Trey Parks in the building. Much love to you, my warrior brother, and thank you for being here. And shout out to our sister Patricia A. Jones for this comment. King made Johnson uncomfortable. Yeah, but Johnson knew how to play the game with King. And this is what if you heard what he was talking about, he was saying, he was teaching King about how propaganda works, right? And he was saying, well, they say if you take something and repeat it over and over again, it becomes true in the eyes of a lot of people. He said, well, this is what we're talking about here is true, right? And he's speaking about the voters' rights and, you know, the litmus test and all this other stuff. And he said, well, if you can continue to hammer down on that one area, then you will be able to change the minds and hearts of these people, whether they're Nabisco or not. They will also say, well, that's not fair, this, that, and the third. Now, notice what he was doing there. He was telling King and teaching King about propaganda, but he was telling King to keep the propaganda on a subject that he wanted King to keep the propaganda on. Notice economics wasn't a part of that conversation now, was it? Upward mobility wasn't a part of that conversation, was it? No, just voting. And that's where he wanted to keep the whole attention on. And that's why after 65, because this took place in 65, after 65, King start looking at economics and looking at the black dollar and looking at how everybody was actually given a leg up in this country. So he started honing in on that. And because he started honing in on that, then he became very dangerous, because then that propaganda that he was taught to use against us can now be used to benefit us. A B1 salute and shalom to our good brother Trey Parks. Once again, much love to you. Your donation is blessed tenfold. Thank you very much, my warrior brother. And y'all, I appreciate your contributions as always, family. Now, I want to go here.
Then we've got to come up with the qualifications of voters. That will answer 70% of your problems. If you just clear it out everywhere, make it age and read and write. No tests on what Chaucer said or Browning's poetry or constitutions or memorizing or anything else. And then you may have to put them in the post office. Let the postmaster, that's a federal employee that I control, who they can say is local. He's recommended by the congressman. He's approved by the senator. But if he doesn't register everybody, I can put a new one in. And it's not an outside Washington influence. It's a local man. But they can just all go to the post office like they buy a stamp. Now, I haven't thought this through, but that's my general feeling. And I've talked to the Attorney General, and I've got them working on it. I don't want to start off with that any more than I do with 14B, because I wouldn't get anything else. And I don't want to publicize it. But I want you to know the outline of what I had in mind. Yeah, well, I remember you mentioned it to me the other day at the White House, and I've been very diligent in making this statement. Well, your statement was perfect about the votes, important, very important, and I think it's good to talk about that. And I just don't see how anybody can say that a man can fight in Vietnam, but he can't vote in the post office.
So those are conversations that really got me thinking that, yeah, at some point, King realized that he was pushing, or Lyndon was pushing, that voter right situation a little bit too hard. And, you know, Martin kind of strayed away from the script, as someone put into the comments. He walked away from the script. He started using his own script. He started using the propaganda in the way that, you know, he wanted to use it, rather than using it in the way that Lyndon B wanted him to use it. And another example of the propaganda being used, there was a senator by the name of Barry Goldwater. And Barry Goldwater voted against the Civil Rights Bill of 1964. And, you know, Goldwater was actually going to run for president against Lyndon B. And so, once again, Lyndon B kind of used Black Americans to go against Goldwater, called them all kind of racist and white supremacists. And I tell this story because I want to show everybody how propaganda can work. And just like Malcolm X spoke about, these devils can make the good look innocent, the bad looks innocent, and the innocent look guilty. Not saying that this man was a good person. However, Barry Goldwater, just because he went against the Civil Rights Bill, and I want to make sure everybody understands my position on him. He went against the Civil Rights Bill because he didn't want to expand the federal government. His whole thing was, hey, we should let the states do such. Now, he's wrong. He was wrong, because if you left it up to the states, Mississippi and a lot of other states would not have, you know what I'm saying, participated within the civil rights at all. So, yeah, he was absolutely wrong about that. But for them to make him out to be a stone cold white supremacist, that was very interesting, because when you look the man's name up, when you look him up, right, it talks about how he helped integrate. Well, he was one of those supporters of racial equality, is what they say. But he helped integrate the National Guard out in Florida, excuse me, not Florida, in Arizona. He supported Phoenix public school integration. And he was the founder, or one of the founding members of the Arizona chapter of the NAACP. Now, you could do with that as you may, but beforehand, before he came out against the Civil Rights Bill, nobody was calling him, or basically putting him in the same category as the white supremacist. After he did so, then everybody started coming out calling him a white supremacist. Let's go here.
What I remember most about the 64 campaign was the 64 Civil Rights Act. My dad had been a Republican all his life. And in 64, he switched. And he voted for Johnson, and he became a Democrat because Goldwater was against the 64 Civil Rights Act.
Are you concerned perhaps about the Democrats taking advantage of it? After Lyndon Johnson, the biggest faker in the United States, having opposed the Civil Rights Act for all the years of his life, this was the phoniest individual that ever came around. Did you get that?
Lyndon Johnson, a Southern senator who'd long been ambivalent about civil rights legislation, made big efforts to complete an agenda that Kennedy had not been able to complete.
My fellow Americans, I am about to sign into law the Civil Rights Act of 1964. I want to take this occasion to talk to you.
The 1954 Supreme Court decision against segregation in public schools sent a signal to Black Americans that the highest court in the land had given the seal of approval to what we were fighting for racial integration. Well, with the schools, there was a 10-year period when the country didn't follow through on it.
You have said, I believe, that we have no right to tell the southern states what they must do about school integration. I can't understand this statement. Do you mean to say the Supreme Court decision is null and void? No, the Supreme Court decision is not necessarily the law of the land. The Constitution still is. They interpreted by that action that it was wrong to have segregation. Now, they didn't spell out what was to be done.
Conservatives did not feel that it was something that the federal government should legislate on.
What the president has proposed in this bill is a law which will eliminate one of the most embittering forms of racial discrimination: the denial of free access to places of public accommodation, restaurants, stores, hotels, lunch counters, and other establishments of service or amusement.
I will never vote for a public accommodations clause in any civil rights bill because I think it's unconstitutional. I think it tampers with the right of assembly, the freedom of speech, freedom of religion, and the freedom of property.
In my home state, we have very few public places that remain segregated, by pointing out to business people that it is morally wrong to practice discrimination, and it's also economically bad. This type of approach, while I know it's time-consuming, it is having its effect, will have its effect, and I think it will achieve what we want.
Well, like what year? In 1967, in 1979, in 1983? Is it okay during the intervening times that Black kid in a high school baseball team can't stay at a motel?
This is the basic disagreement between the Negro community and Senator Goldwater. They don't think he's prejudiced. They don't think he's a racist. I don't think he's a racist. But they can't go along with a man who says we ought to let what's going on in Mississippi be settled by Mississippi, and the federal government ought to knit or do something else. This we can't take.
On the eve of the convention, 40,000 people, half of them Negroes, demonstrate against Goldwater in the largest civil rights demonstration since the March on Washington last summer.
I am compelled to urge Negroes and all people of goodwill to vote against him. His election would be a tragedy and certainly suicidal almost for the nation and the world.
You know, nobody knows, or none of us knew, what Senator Goldwater's motives were. We had to take him at his word that this was a constitutional, a philosophical objection. People respected that there could be a difference of opinion, but he was wrong. He was just plain wrong. And because he was wrong, he made his party wrong, and he made the Democrats right.
All right, so I wanted to show you guys that. And here's another propaganda piece that they put out on Barry Goldwater as well.
When somebody tells you he's for Barry Goldwater, you ask him which Barry Goldwater he's for. Is he for the one who said, we must make the fullest possible use of the United Nations? Or is he for the one who said, the United States no longer has a place in the UN? Is he for the Barry who said, I've never advocated the use of nuclear weapons anywhere in the world? Or is he for the one who said, I'd drop a low-yield atomic bomb on the Chinese supply lines in North Vietnam? Is he for the Barry who said, I seek the support of no extremist? Or is he for the one who said, extremism in the defense of liberty is no vice? And how is a Republican supposed to indicate on his ballot which Barry he's voting for? There's only one Lyndon Johnson. Vote for him on November 3rd. The stakes are too high for you to stay home.
We still see this stuff today, family. We still see it today. Shout out to our sister C. Terry in the building. Much love to you, and thank you for being here, and thank you for your donation. Yo, super chat is blessed tenfold, and I appreciate your contribution as always, my warrior sister. So this is what I believe. I believe that Martin Luther King, while working with LBJ, he saw the use of propaganda. And then after LBJ explained to him what he needed him to do and say, using repetition, that Martin started really looking into what he should be saying. That's just in my humble opinion. Because then we get speeches like this. We're going to play this again, then I'm going to play a couple of other ones.
At the very same time that America refused to give the Negro any land, through an act of Congress, our government was giving away millions of acres of land in the West and the Midwest, which meant that it was willing to undergird its white peasants from Europe with an economic floor. But not only did they give the land, they built land-grant colleges with government money to teach them how to farm. Not only that, they provided county agents to further their expertise in farming. Not only that, they provided low interest rates in order that they could mechanize their farms. Not only that, today, many of these people are receiving millions of dollars in federal subsidies not to farm, and they are the very people telling the black man that he ought to lift himself by his own bootstraps. And this is what we are faced with, and this is a reality. Now, when we come to Washington, in this campaign, we are coming to get our check. I have a dream. My poor little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. I have a dream today.
I must confess that that dream that I had that day has at many points turned into a nightmare. Turned into a nightmare. Once turned into a nightmare. Now, I'm not one to lose hope. I keep on hoping. I still have faith in the future. But I've had to analyze many things over the last few years, and I would say over the last few months. I've gone through a lot of soul-searching and agonizing moments. And I've come to see that we have many more difficult days ahead, and some of the old optimism was a little superficial, and now it must be tempered with a solid realism. And I think the realistic fact is that we still have a long, long way to go, and that we are involved in a war on Asian soil, which, if not checked and stopped, can poison the very soul of our nation. I'm not going to say that all of our problems will be solved if the war in Vietnam is ended, but I do say that the war makes it infinitely more difficult to deal with these problems. When a nation becomes obsessed with the guns of war, it loses its social perspective, and programs of social uplift suffer. This is just a fact of history, so that we do face many more difficulties as a result of the war. It's much more difficult to really arouse the conscience during a time of war. There is something about a war like this that makes people insensitive. It dulls the conscience. It strengthens the forces of reaction, and it brings into being bitterness and hatred and violence. I think the biggest problem now is that we got our gains over the last 12 years at bargain rate, so to speak. It didn't cost the nation anything. In fact, it helped. We got our gains over the last 12 years at bargain rate, so to speak. It didn't cost the nation anything. In fact, it helped hatred and violence. I think the biggest problem now is that we got our gains over the last 12 years at bargain rate, so to speak. It didn't cost the nation anything. In fact, it helped the economic side of the nation to integrate lunch counters and public accommodations. It didn't cost the nation anything to get the right to vote established. And now we are confronting issues that cannot be solved without costing the nation billions of dollars. Now, I think.
Now, family, does this sound like King woke up to the scam that they was trying to run on him? Did it seem like, or do it seem like to you, that King is formulating the thought process of the foundationals before we even came along? This man is understanding that they've been using him to make sure that we got nothing for years upon years. And now he's just saying it flat on out. No, this is unfair. They ain't have to lift a finger or pay a damn dime in order to give us the right to vote or to protect our right to vote. They didn't have to lift a dime to integrate us. They made money off of integration. And the only remedy that can be done will cost America billions of dollars. And 60 years later, 63 years later, well, actually, no, 61 years, because it was 65. So 61 years later, the children of the freedmen are saying the exact same thing. But now the debt has compounded. They don't want this Martin Luther King. In the very same way that they don't want this to be the mindset if you are going to do a march on Washington. This was his mindset before he was unalived. So why wouldn't you want to finish the mission? I could only deduce from this situation that you don't have the same mission because you don't believe and you didn't believe in his mission. Let's continue.
This is where we're getting our greatest resistance. They may put it on many other things, but we can't get rid of slums and poverty without it costing the nation something. I feel that nonviolence is really the only way that we can follow, because violence is just so self-defeating. A riot ends up creating many more problems for the Negro community than it solves. You can, through violence, burn down a building, but you can't establish justice. You can murder a murderer, but you can't murder through violence. You can murder a hater, but you can't murder hate. And what we are trying to get rid of is hate and injustice and all of these other things that continue the long night of man's inhumanity to man.
When we allow freedom to reign, when we let it reign from every village and every hamlet, from every state and every city, we will be able to speed up that day when all of God's children, black men and white men, Jews and Gentiles, Protestants and Catholics, will be able to join hands and sing in the words of the old Negro spiritual, free at last, free at last. Thank God Almighty, we are free at last.
That ain't it, family. Let's get into some more, shall we?
We read one day, we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. But if a man doesn't have a job or an income, he has neither life nor liberty and the possibility for the pursuit of happiness. He merely exists. Estimated that we spend $322,000 for each enemy we kill in Vietnam, while we spend in the so-called war on poverty in America only about $53 for each person classified as poor. The promises of the Great Society have been shot down on the battlefield of Vietnam, making the poor, white and Negro, bear the heaviest burdens both at the front and at home. The other thing I want you to understand is this, that it didn't cost the nation one penny. That it didn't cost the nation one penny. Understand is this, that it didn't cost the nation one penny to integrate lunch counters. Well, it didn't cost the nation one penny to guarantee the right to vote. But now we are dealing with issues that cannot be solved without the nation spending billions of dollars. Issues that cannot be solved without the nation spending billions of dollars. Issues that cannot be solved without the nation spending billions of dollars.
I don't want to hear about nothing if you ain't going to Washington to get that check. I don't want to hear about nothing if you ain't bringing no Freedmen hate crime bill, some sort of transformative agendas for foundational Black Americans. I don't want to hear it. King was telling you then in the very same way that we're telling you now. I don't want no phony marches. I don't care about you guys going out there for optics. People really in these streets really need these things, and y'all out here still trying to talk about the same damn thing that they had King on before they unalived him.
And undergoing a radical redistribution of economic power. Yeah. All labor has dignity. Yes. But you're doing another thing. You are reminding not only Memphis, but you are reminding the nation that it is a crime for people to live in this rich nation and receive starvation wages. America's opportunity to help bridge the gulf between the haves and the have-nots. And the question is whether America will do it. There's nothing new about poverty. What is new is that we now have the techniques and the resources to get rid of poverty. And the real question is whether we have the will. I come here tonight and plead with you. Believe in yourself and believe that you're somebody. As I said to a group last night, nobody else can do this for us. No document can do this for us. I said to a group last night, Nobody else can do this for us. No document.
Don't he sound like we're sounding right now?
Nobody else can do this for us. No document can do this for us. No Lincolnian Emancipation Proclamation can do this for us. No Kennedonian or Johnsonian Civil Rights Bill can do this for us. If the Negro is to be free, he must move down into the inner resources of his own soul and sign with a pen and ink of self-assertive manhood his own Emancipation Proclamation. No document can do this for us. No Lincolnian Emancipation Proclamation can do this for us. No Kennedonian or Johnsonian Civil Rights Bill can do this for us. If the Negro is to be free, he must move down into the inner resources of his own soul and sign with a pen and ink of self-assertive manhood his own Emancipation Proclamation.
I wonder why they don't play this king. I wonder why they don't play this king. I wonder why they don't glorify and edify this king. Why aren't y'all marching on Washington due to this king's wishes? This man came out speaking in a way that these people will never show people, because he came out speaking for his people. And for everybody who didn't realize it, that's why I wanted to show what I believe was the transition from King being used to King using the tools given to him to actually talk about what we need. Exactly, AO. That rebel kicked in. Oh, they don't want you on this, though. They don't want you on this whatsoever. They do not want you on this. They don't want you to know about this, Dr. King. This is why this is one of his most rarest speeches. And you don't hear it every January like you hear the I Have a Dream speech. They don't quote it in the way they quote the I Have a Dream speech. He out here sounding just like us. Can't, no emancipation, no John Covian civil rights bill get us where we need to go.
Don't let anybody take your manhood. Be proud of our heritage. As somebody said earlier tonight, we don't have anything to be ashamed of. Somebody told a lie one day. They couched it in language. They made everything black, ugly, and evil. Look in your dictionary and see the synonyms of the word black. It's always something degrading and low and sinister. Look at the word white. It's always something pure, high, and clean. But I want to get the language right tonight. I want to get the language so right that everybody here will cry out, yes, I'm black, I'm proud of it, I'm black and beautiful.
If you was to close your eyes If you were to close your eyes, you would think that King was preaching right here to foundational Black Americans in 2026. If you were to close your eyes and listen to us speak, you'll be teleported right back there to 1968 when he did this speech. We're standing on business, and the business that we're standing on is counter to what these polytrictions want us to stand on. They want to tell us where we should concentrate our attention. And we're telling them, hell no. If you're not talking about reparations, if you're not talking about a Freedmen hate crime bill, if you're not talking about transformative policies for freedmen, I don't give a damn how many times you march down to Washington. Go and clean the Lincoln Monument while you're there. We told you what our agenda is. It is the same agenda. It is the very same agenda as Martin Luther King III's father agenda. When we come to Washington in this campaign, he didn't say some campaigns down the line. He didn't say the next campaign. He didn't say the campaign 3 weeks out. He said in this campaign, we're coming to get our checks. And you got these people out here that had several campaigns since the man has been taken from this planet. And it has never not once been about going to get that check. It has never not once been about a hate crime bill, even though they marched down there due to a hate crime. It has never not once been to benefit us. And this is why everything that these people do will continue to fail. Everything these people do will continue to fail. The energy is no longer with you. You can't call on the energy of the ancestors. They're no longer with you. The energy of the ancestor is right here within the foundational Black American grassroots. You have abused our energy for far too damn long. The ancestors went silent because we didn't call you out on your chicanery when y'all was doing it. The second we start calling you mother lovers out and start giving glory to the ancestors that made sure we had the ability to do so, then everything just start going to flames, ain't it? As it should. We're looking back with the benefit of hindsight, and we're saying, yeah, none of this is going to work. So it's the same old playbook that they used on your father, and now you're out there being used for the same damn thing that your father was used for. Well, if his children aren't making him proud, and I'm not saying that they're not, I'm not saying that they are, I'm just saying if they're not trying to uphold his legacy and finish the work, don't worry, Dr. King. Foundationals, we're here to do so. And we're going to do it in the way that it's supposed to be done. With our eyes open, with our ears open, listening, viewing, understanding what's going on, and holding everybody accountable. I want to give a shout out to the family, because we deserve to have policy for us. We deserve to get what's owed to us, and we deserve to have people who work for us. And I want everybody to understand we're not doing anything wrong for standing on this business, for standing on this square. When Obama was in office and he spit in our face and signed all those executive orders for those god dang LGBTQ people. And this is no hatred, but this is just facts. When he signed all those dang executive orders, those people got protections. Those people got what we've been fighting for years, decades, centuries. I want to show you something. And shout out to our brother Black RU. Thank you for your Cash App, my brother. Your donation is blessed tenfold. And I appreciate your contribution as always. And also thank you for this message as well. MLK's children dropped the baton, church, and I'm glad that we picked it up. They dropped it and didn't even care about it. They just kept on walking because I don't see them running. And we didn't picked it up and surpassed them in the race. I want to show you guys something, family. Do you know how many other groups have their own law enforcement or law enforcement liaison? You know, you have Muslims out there in Minnesota. You got the Top Hat community out there in New York. In Chinatown in California, you got some Asian police officers who are liaisons. Black Americans have had the most issues with police departments. And we don't even have a liaison. But you know who do? And who just received one? Once again, that alphabet. Let's go here.
I love being a part of it. I love being able to go out with my wife throughout the entire city and being able to say, hey, I put that sticker on that business. As of this morning, we have 129 different businesses. So a safe place is basically a business will get in contact with me. I'll come out to the location and go over the program. It's basically a safe place, essentially, for any victim of any hate crime whatsoever to come into the business, inform the business owners or the employees what happened to them, and then that business is responsible for keeping the victim in a safe public spot and then calling 911 on the behalf. Fun fact is that lipstick and chapstick are both part of Safe Place, but they're also one of the first ones when I came on to be the LGBTQ liaison, signed up to be a part of a Safe Place program. I think more now than ever, somebody needs to know that they're loved, whether it's within their blood family or within their chosen family. There's people out there for you, and to not be scared to live your full authentic self.
Family, these people go from business to business, signing people up for safe spaces for the alphabet people who think they may have experienced a hate crime. So when you say something that they don't like, they can go into one of those businesses and cry and tell people they experienced a hate crime and they call the police. And now you can be arrested. Yeah, you're ahead of the curve, because I was just about to ask the same question. Where the hell is our safe space? You know, for the number one group of hate crimes? You've never seen any type of campaign like this for foundational Black Americans. Never. You don't see any safe spaces for foundational Black Americans. Where are safe spaces? The people who deal with the most hate crimes across the damn board. So no, family, don't feel any kind of way. Do not feel any kind of inkling in your heart about this, because they're out there taking care of everybody else and making sure you have to deal with the devils, making sure you have to deal with the system of injustice, the white supremacists, and all its glory. And this is your Democrats. When I say that there will never be a person that can shame me into giving away my interest for theirs, you're looking at some of the reasons why. And I'm going to show you another reason why in closing. Because this ain't about us. This is about our babies, their babies, and the future of their babies. I want to go into, in closing, this clip here from, shout out to our brother Tariq Nasheed and everybody that was out there, from Black Alpha to Vicky Dillard, freaking Afro Elite, Rizza Islam, everybody who went out there and participated in the rally for reparations, a real movement to the Washington. If it was a march, if you called it a march, it'd be the real March on Washington, because they actually went to Washington with that agenda that would continue the fight that Martin Luther King Jr. was fighting for, that he died for, that he was killed for. This is another reason why I will not be shamed. Let's go here.
I'm at the rally for reparations. Yes, hi. Amazing little girl. What's your name, dear?
My name is Star, and I'm a young entrepreneur, and I sell sanitizers. They're all natural and organic. They have lemons and tea tree oil in them. I make them myself, and I especially made them for my community, right? Foundational Black Americans. And I just want to thank Mr. Tariq Nasheed for giving me this opportunity. Have a great day, everyone.
Now, how old are you, dear?
I'm 8.
This little girl is 8 years old. Our little FKA princess, man. Look at that beautiful baby. We appreciate you, love it.
Yes, thank you.
I'm at the rally for reparations.
That's what they don't want. That's what they don't want. That's what they don't want. Not only are you going to Washington, but you're going to Washington to let them know you need that check, and you bringing in the babies to show where that money will go. And these babies is letting you know it ain't to no damn rims. It ain't to no name brand clothes or no shoes, no Jordans, no PlayStations, or none of that. This young baby came with the business at hand. This young lady came with a business at hand, making it from scratch with her own little 8-year-old hands. That's what they don't want. That's why they keep trying to keep everybody's attention on things like voters' rights, voters' rights. They don't want you thinking about the economic growth of your community. They don't want you to think about the upward mobility of your community and what that upward mobility can do to your children and for your children and for the ideas that will be birthed in your children's minds. This is what they don't want. They want to keep your mind on everything outside of the economic sphere so that you're not looking at young sisters like this, thinking about making sure she's straight when it comes to funding or anything necessary to help her business grow. She is 8 years old in this video clip. And notice, even as an 8-year-old, she has a reason and she has a why. And the reason is for foundational Black Americans, and the why is for foundational Black Americans. It is organic. It is healthy. She took time to create something that she saw a need for as an 8-year-old. And she said, my people need this. This is why they don't want you going to Washington, D.C. talking about reparations. This is why they want to keep your eyes somewhere the freak else talking about voters' rights or goddamn the congressional Black talkers losing seats when they don't represent us in those seats. I'm going to replay this once again so you can hear her why once again.
This little Christian kid is an amazing little girl. What's your name, dear?
My name is Star, and I'm a young entrepreneur, and I sell sanitizers. They're all natural and organic. They have lemons and tea tree oil in them. I make them myself, and I especially made them for my community, right? Lemons and tea tree oil in them. I make them myself, and I especially made them for my community, right? Foundational Black Americans. And I just want to thank Mr. Tarek Dashi, my community, right? Foundational Black Americans. I make them myself, and I especially made them for my community, right? Foundational Black Americans. And I just want to thank Mr. Tarek Dashi for giving me this opportunity. Have a great day, everyone.
Now, how old are you, dear?
I'm 8.
This little girl is 8 years old. Our little FBA princess, man. Look at that beautiful baby.
Like I said, I will never let anybody shame me. Ever. This little baby's out there working her hardest to do for her community. And she deserves every freaking chance that is afforded to her. So I don't give a damn about no March on Washington. I don't care if Al Sharpton do it. I don't care if Somalians do it. I don't care if the King the Third do it. I don't care if Bernice says she's going to get up and do it. If you're not bringing forth reparations, a transformative Black agenda, a Freedmen hate crime bill while going to Washington, making that your demand, then you can take that and shove it right where the sun don't shine, turn it sideways and shove it up again. When we go to Washington in this campaign, we're coming to get our check. And with that being said, family, if you're not subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscribe button along with the notification bell so you can be notified whenever videos like this drop. Please make sure you're hitting that like and share button as well as the hype button if you're catching this on a replay so we can beat up the algorithm, and get the message out to the ears that need to hear. And if you have not done so yet, please click the link in the description, go to change.org and put your signature on the petition for reparations. Family, it is very, very telling that although we keep telling people over and over again that they're just using the very same playbook. They're using the very same plays. And we're the ones that's actually breaking the matrix. We're pulling the matrix apart. We're doing what I believe King would love to see. So if you're going to go to Washington, you make sure to continue the legacy that he was unalive for before he went to Washington. And that's making sure that we're good. No longer will you people be able to convince us that we should do for nothing and y'all should do nothing for us. It's a hell no. We won't go. So for all of the people that's going to attend that march, from the labor unions to the non-action network to all of their affiliates, I hope the Most High see fit to make sure it's a very rainy and messy day. Disrespectfully. With that being said, family, I appreciate you all for being here, lending me some of your time on this beautiful Saturday evening. Much love to each and every one of you. I'd like to thank everybody who's donated, whether by Cashapp, Super Chat, PayPal, or anywhere else. Much love to each and every one of you. Stay safe, stay black, and most importantly, family, stay foundational. The doors of the church are now closed. Peace, family. Oh, yeah, see, Terry, all the lightning and thunder. Peace, family.
My grandfather built this country, man. He fought wars for it. And most places he went wouldn't let him sit down and get a cup of coffee. I can't even catch a cab in New York. You know, it doesn't matter how many degrees I get. All you people see is color. Your grandfather was an immigrant. You're American. My grandfather was born here, Duke. And you people still look at me as just another nigga.
I know that the government, whatever, can't stand us black people. He's doing everything in the world to make black man be extinct. But I'm going to tell you one thing. Us black people going to survive. Yeah. So fuck everybody. I'm off.